Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into a super important topic for any nonprofit: data security. Look, for organizations like yours, built on goodwill, protecting sensitive information is so much more than just an IT problem. That trust you've worked so hard to earn from donors and the people you help, that's your most valuable asset. And honestly, it all hangs on how you handle their data. So let me start by asking you a question. When you think about a data breach, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably some shadowy hacker in a dark room, right? And while those external attacks are definitely a real threat, the biggest danger to your organization's data, well, it's actually much closer to home.
Take a look at this number, 88%. I mean, that's a huge majority. But what is it? It's not the number of attacks from sophisticated cybercriminals or anything like that.
No, it's the percentage of all data breaches that are caused by simple human error. That's right, almost 9 out of every 10 incidents are tied to honest mistakes, made by well-meaning staff and volunteers. And as you're about to see, the fallout from those simple mistakes can be absolutely devastating.
Just look at the impact on your supporters. After a breach happens, a staggering 2/3 of them lose confidence in the organization. That's a loss of trust that is way, way harder to recover from than any financial fine.
So, let's get one thing straight. This isn't just about securing databases or avoiding penalties. What we're really talking about here is protecting the single most valuable thing a nonprofit has, the trust of its community. With that in mind, let's dive into some real, actionable strategies.
First up, our first line of defense is all about being proactive. It's about limiting how much data is even exposed to begin with. Think about it. If the data isn't easily accessible, it can't be compromised. It's really that simple.
A key tool to make this happen is something called Role-Based Access Control, or RBAC. The idea behind it is incredibly straightforward. People should only have access to the information they absolutely need to do their jobs. Nothing more, nothing less.
And here's a perfect example of how that works in the real world. Your accounting team, they obviously need to see donor financials, but they have absolutely no business seeing sensitive child profiles. A program manager needs the exact opposite. And that volunteer helping at your annual gala, all they need is the event list. By giving everyone their own lane, you dramatically cut down the risk of an accidental data leak or misuse.
And this brings us to another really powerful idea. Just don't collect data you don't need. This is a core principle called data minimization. Every single piece of information you ask for is another thing you have to secure and another potential liability if things go wrong. Let me show you a fantastic real-world example. A little while back, the Nature Conservancy took a hard look at their donation forms. They realized they were asking for all this stuff, like birth dates, that they didn't actually need. So what do? They streamlined the whole thing, cutting the number of questions almost in half.
And the results were pretty amazing. Not only did they lower their data risk, but the number of people actually finishing the form shot up by 30%. And at the same time, privacy complaints dropped by 1/4. This just goes to show that respecting people's privacy isn't just good security, it's actually good for engagement.
You know, their data officer really summed it up perfectly. She said that by asking for less, they actually got better data and, you guessed it, happier donors. It's a total win-win. All right, on to our second big strategy. This one is all about the most important and often the most vulnerable part of your entire security system, your people. The goal here is to turn your team from a potential weak link into your absolute strongest line of defense.
And here is exactly why that is so critical. A mind-boggling 93% of all cybersecurity incidents at nonprofits start with a phishing scam. You know, one of those fake emails designed to trick somebody into clicking a bad link or giving away a password.
So the key is training everyone, and I mean everyone, to spot the red flags. Is the email trying to create a crazy sense of urgency? Does the sender's email address look just a little bit off? Are there weird links or unexpected attachments? These are the simple gut checks that can stop an attack in its tracks.
And look, a good training program doesn't have to be some huge, complicated thing. It starts with the basics when someone new joins. Then you do quick 15-minute refreshers every quarter to keep those skills sharp. And maybe most importantly, you run practice phishing attacks so your team can get some real hands-on experience in a totally safe environment.
But here's the kicker. Despite how simple and effective this is, a jaw-dropping 90% of nonprofits just skip this kind of regular training. This is seriously one of the biggest and most fixable weak spots in the whole sector.
Okay, so you've limited your data exposure, and you've started to build that human firewall. But what happens if something still manages to go wrong? That's where our third strategy comes into play, creating your technical and procedural safety net.
Two of the most important tools for that net are encryption and audit trails. Think of it like this. Encryption is what protects your data if it gets stolen. It basically scrambles it into unreadable gibberish. Audit trails, on the other hand, are like digital security cameras that keep a log of who is accessing your data and when, which helps you spot weird activity early.
But just having the tools isn't enough. You have to have a plan for what to do in an emergency. And this is another major gap. A full 68% of nonprofits have no written plan for how to respond to a cyber attack. They're basically planning to wing it during a full-blown crisis, which is, well, it's a recipe for disaster.
This timeline really shows you why that plan is so vital. Under rules like Europe's GDPR, you often have just 72 hours from the moment you detect a breach to notify the authorities. Believe me, that clock ticks incredibly fast. Without a clear plan that spells out every single step, meeting a deadline like that is pretty much impossible.
So, as we start to wrap this up, it's so important to remember that this is about way more than just checking boxes or avoiding fines. I mean, yeah, those things are important, but they are not the real goal here.
The real goal, the true north behind every single one of these strategies, is protecting the trust that fuels your entire mission. That trust is your currency. It's what allows you to do all the incredible work you do in the world.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In this world of data security, think of trust like a bank account. Every proactive step you take, that's a deposit. Every vulnerability you ignore, that's a withdrawal. So the real question you have to ask is, how healthy is your balance?